Episode 38, The Return of the Fence Ripper. You ever wake up and find your fence gone? Not broken, not leaning, just gone. Posts ripped out clean, rails missing like they'd been erased overnight. It's the kind of thing that makes you rub your eyes, look at your coffee, and wonder if you're still dreaming. The call came in before dawn. Backyard in South County. And lying right where the fence used to stand was Manny. Yeah, that Manny. The former Watsonville chief of police. A good man. The kind of chief who still knew your name after 20 years. Who'd wave when you passed him at the market. Humble. Fair. The kind of guy you wish we had more of. And now he was gone. Stretched out on the damp grass, a chalk outline lying where a fence and a man both used to stand. Whoever ripped that yard open wasn't just pulling wood out of the ground. They were tearing something out of the community. I stood there with my coffee, cold naturally, because that's my curse, and stared at the dirt wounds where the posts had been. The ground looked like it had been chewed on by a giant jaw. Clean extractions. Neat, precise, almost professional. Neighbors said they heard it around midnight. Not a truck, not a chainsaw. More like wood crying. You ever hear that sound? That high, splintery whine when the lumber gives way. That's what they swore they heard. And nobody saw a thing. Now, I know what you're thinking. Fence thieves? Again? Didn't we put that story to rest? Yeah, we did. But apparently the fence ripper's back. Only this time he's not stopping at fences. He's pulling people too. First stop was the lady who started all this years ago. The one whose fence kept disappearing until she finally turned it into a commercial. You remember it. She teamed up with one of our advertisers. Cypress Coast Fence. They built her a brand new fence, one that couldn't be ripped out no matter how stubborn the thief. Cypress Coast Fence was famous for that catchy jingle. You couldn't get it out of your head if you tried. Some guy with a southern cowboy drawl would lean into the mic and say they could build you a deer fence, wood fence, livestock chain fence, vinyl iron fence. The way he worked those words into an earworm. Genius. Good advertising. And advertising on KSCO always makes good sense. She met me on her porch, robe tied, coffee in hand. Not again, she said before I even asked. I knew it. I could feel it in the ground. They're back. I looked past her posts into the yard. The reinforced, the steel sleeves driven deep. Extra protection. You upgrade your fence? I asked. She nodded. Bought the good stuff from Righetti's hardware. He said people have been nervous, can't blame them. Righetti. Around here, he knows what folks are fixing and what they're hiding. Yeah, detective, he told me later. Folks been buying reinforcements left and right. But you want to know the weird part? A guy came in last month asking for hydraulic parts. Said he was working on a post puller. Heavy duty. Quieter than usual. I asked him for a name. He shrugged. Paid cash, but the way he talked? Like a man that hates fences. Like fences insult him personally. I left Righetti's and headed out to the Power River. Word was people had seen stacks of fresh posts lined up like soldiers. And sure enough, there they were, rows of wood standing at attention, lumber arranged in neat lines like somebody was building a shrine out of stolen backyards. And there, caught on a nail, a scrap of cloth, plaid, the kind Manny wore. I stood in that eerie lumberyard, the That shrine, coffee in one hand, a cigarette that we can't call a cigarette in the other, and I felt it. This wasn't random. This was ritual. Somebody wasn't stealing fences. Somebody was collecting them. I thought about Manny, a man who spent his life keeping order, keeping the peace, making sure South County felt safe. And here he was, taken down by a lunatic with a machine and a grudge against fences. It didn't make sense. Good men never fall in ways that make sense. The trail led back to an old equipment yard, long abandoned, a chain-link fence sagging like it had given up. Inside was the beast, a compact loader with custom jaws welded to the front, a fence-eater, teeth scarred from pulling post after post. And inside that shack, that was Calder, ex-public works guy. Never liked fences, never liked being told no. He smiled at me with that smile that doesn't reach the eyes. "You can't stop progress, detective," he said. "Fences divide people. I tear them down. I free them." "Free them?" I said. "You killed a good man." He shook his head. "The ground took him. I just helped." I don't know what snapped first, my patience or my coffee buzz, but by the time we got Calder in cuffs, my cup was on the floor and my hand smelled like hydraulic oil and regret. Manny didn't make it. The fence did. That's the kind of cruel math life hands you. South County lost a good man that night, and all I could do was sip another cold cup and promise myself I'd stay on dry land. Leave the ghosts their stage. Let the dead keep their fences. They ripped the posts. They ripped the gate. They ripped the man who stayed out late. They ripped the town to change its fate. And Army sipped his brew. They ripped the doors. They ripped the locks. And that's why I don't trust the beaver eating cabbage. Your detective until next time, Billy Armi.